Hi, and welcome to the Good Works podcast. Today we're in the beautiful Houghton Library at Corning Community College, and we're going to be talking all about scholarships. Well, so hi, Sarah.
Hi.
We are here at CCC, and fun fact, you attended CCC.
I know, my sort of old stomping grounds here.
We're back up here, and we have some guests with us today, very special guests, because they are Community Foundation Scholarship recipients that are current CCC students. So welcome to the Good Works podcast.
Thank you
for having us.
So first with me here is Brianna Snyder, and you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Brianna Snyder, as she just said. I currently am a freshman at Corning Community College, but I'm also graduating this year, so I'm kind of a sophomore too.
Okay.
I am in the liberal arts with a concentration in humanities and social sciences. Next year, I will be attending Binghamton University to study human development.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And also with us today, Darren Pollan. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Darren?
Hello, my name is Darren Pollan, and I obviously attend Corning Community College. I will be transferring to Finger Lakes after this year for music recording, and I'm taking a few classes here just to get my feet wet.
That sounds exciting,
Fantastic.
Music recording. So here you're on a podcast, getting ready for your future career.
Yeah.
So Darren, you were the recipient of actually the first ever Brendan McCarthy scholarship, and that was a newer scholarship for us. Brendan passed away last year, and that was a real blow to the Horseheads community, where you were a student at Horseheads. So can you tell us a little bit about Mr. McCarthy and what the scholarship means to you?
Mr. McCarthy is just so hard to put into words. He's just he's a great man. The scholarship meant more than any monetary value because of how much he motivated the student, how much he motivated myself. I had him as a teacher when I was in resource room, and I mean, just his excitement was palpable, and he was a beautiful person.
He really was. We just like being a small part of his memory here.
Right, and actually before we got the scholarship here, I had an opportunity to work with Brendan a couple of times. He had submitted some grant applications specifically for the special education department, and he did a lot of good work with helping students, special ed students, transition to either college or the workforce, whatever it might be. So it's really wonderful to have the scholarship here kind of forever ingrained into the work of the Community Foundation.
His memory is will be very special for years to come.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and let's see, you are a recipient of the Polly Sanders Scholarship. Can you tell us how you learned about our program and decided to apply?
I knew from the beginning that I was going to apply to the Community Foundation for scholarships just because from what my guidance counselor said about how local scholarships are so much better, and it's really nice that it's also your own community funding your education, which is really special. And so I was a student in the New Visions Education and Human Services, which is on the BOCES campus. And so that is how I got into the application and decided to apply for this specific scholarship.
And we really appreciate that. Something people don't realize is we actually have a little bit of a hard time getting people to apply for scholarships.
I know. It's amazing. We have a little over $245,000 available for scholarships. And some of them are really tough to find applicants.
They are. We just gave away this year 120 scholarships. But what people don't realize is we had over 250 kids start applications in our process, and we can see that because it's an online process, and not complete the application.
Right. It's sad.
It is sad.
It's really sad.
We want people to not only start the application, but finish the application, just like you two did.
Yeah.
I'm surprised as a college student because scholarships are a big part. College is very expensive, and even if you have resources to pay for it, scholarships still, they take away. It takes away from the loans that you're going to have to pay back from someday. And it's surprising to me that a lot of people don't take advantage of those.
Right.
And I'm glad that you brought up the loans, because a lot of times the packages that students get, the financial aid packages, include loans. When you receive a Community Foundation scholarship, in addition to the actual scholarship money, something people might like to know is you have access to our kind of secret, I think our secret program, which is John Sirianni, our finance officer, will call those financial aid offices and those bursars offices and say, this scholarship replaces loans. This scholarship, doesn't reduce the aid they get. This reduces the loans they're taking out. And he is a bulldog.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so he's a real help to students and parents when they're faced with some of these challenging conversations. So just another service we provide that we don't really talk about very often.
And even I knew, because I got 2 community foundation scholarships, but one I didn't need this year because I came to CCC as a presidential scholar. So I didn't need the full amount. And the community foundation actually let me defer my scholarship.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to use my other scholarship that was a higher amount when I go to Binghamton next year, which means a lot more because I don't have as big of a scholarship as I did when I came to Corning.
Right.
So.
We're so glad that you did apply for more than one. That's something else that people might not realize too.
Right. And in addition, too, if a student gets a lot of financial aid, it may not need the scholarship to be applied to their tuition bill. Again, John Sirianni is extremely helpful in setting up bookstore accounts, for example, because books are incredibly expensive. So if you receive a $500 scholarship, that pays for at least a semester's worth of books.
We've paid for study abroad programs. Room and board. There are a lot of things we can do.
Yep.
So why don't we talk about maybe 1 or 2 other scholarships people may have heard of or maybe haven't heard of?
Sure. So we have a lot. We have over 120 different scholarship opportunities for students to take advantage of. And some of those opportunities the criteria sound a little wonky.
And very
niche-y.
narrow, very nichey.
Very niche-y, and then some are much broader. So the one that always comes to my mind is the bowling scholarship. So this is for a student who is a sanctioned bowler.
Sanctioned is important.
Yes, they have to be sanctioned.
You have to have a YABA number. Youth Association of Bowling of America. It's serious.
Yeah, so we really look hard to find that bowler who can receive that scholarship, and thinking maybe there's not a ton of bowlers in our region, you have a really good opportunity to get that scholarship.
But then some of the scholarships are much broader, and that makes me think of the Chemung Canal Trust Company Scholarship.
Right.
That's a bit more of what you would think of traditionally, looking for a great student from somewhere in the region that is active in their community and just a really great citizen.
Right, and we do have several of those types of scholarships where it's been a corporation or business who has said, we want to give back to the community, we want to help students achieve and continue their education, so they've established a scholarship here with us.
That in mind, we're going to talk a little bit more about businesses and philanthropy in our next podcast episode.
I can hardly wait.
I'm excited too. So, I'd like to say thank you very much to our guests that came and joined us today. Good luck with your studies. Good luck with your time at CCC. Where do you think you see yourself, Darren, in 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I'm hoping to either be working for a recording studio or just recording something and not letting my education go to waste.
That's great. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, first after college graduation, I want to go into the Peace Corps and do 2 years. Then I want to work for a nonprofit organization doing community outreach programs.
Well, we will keep an eye on you for sure. 10 years from now, we might have an opening at the Community Foundation, and we will definitely be following your career as well, knowing that we played maybe a teeny tiny part in it. And when we see your name in the credits on some great movie that we loved, we'll applaud really loudly.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, Sarah, what is something you're looking forward to in the next couple of weeks here in the Southern Tier?
So every year, I really look forward to Class Fest, and so that always occurs in May, the end of May, during Memorial Day weekend. And for the past couple of years, the Community Foundation has sponsored the annual 8K race.
This is true. We will be doing that again.
Team Community Foundation will be running in the 8K, and then also enjoying lots of the fun activities happening that weekend.
Sarah always beats me by about 8 minutes in the old 8K.
Maybe not this year.
Oh, well, I'll look forward to seeing you at the finish with your bottle of water and your banana already gone.
Thanks.
So I'm looking forward to something that is a great annual event as well in the Corning area, and that's Recycled Runway. That's the Arts Council's biggest fundraiser of the year, and local students and artists and families come together to create an unbelievable fashion show where everything is completely recycled materials. So that will be taking place the first weekend in June, the first Saturday in June at the Corning Museum of Glass. And tickets are still available if people would like to go. Like I said, it's a fundraiser for the Arts Council, an organization we love very much, close funding partners in the area. And I really look forward to being there and seeing the artwork this year.
It'll be fun.
Well, thanks to everyone for being part of this episode. Looks like spring is here, and we're going to enjoy a little bit more of this beautiful library before we go. So thank you for watching the Good Works Podcast.